Everybody, if you saw yesterday's video, you saw it snowed here off and on all day. I had a great adventure run, but today I'm in t-shirt, shorts, 55 degrees. It's just perfect running weather. Cloud cover, couldn't be better. And it's gonna be almost 80 degrees this week. So kind of right from winter to summer and a little bit of spring today. So it's awesome out, and I'm out in the neighborhood trails, and it's interval day for me today. I picked a hill that's 3.5 minutes long. I'm working on my VO2 max effort. If you saw last week's video on how to build a workout, you know what that means. But this hill initially climbs for about the first minute, and then it levels off, and then it kicks up again to the finish. And what I'm working on today is one of my weaknesses, and one of my goals for this year is to get faster running on technical or slower types of terrain. The first part of this hill is pretty clean, and then it levels off, and I'm having to force to kind of get a little bit of work through that initial hill while it levels off, and having to keep my effort going. And then it kicks up again, and that last hill, it gets kind of small, little, just kind of real clunky rocks, and just a lot of things you have that kind of can slow you down. And that's, again, what I'm working on is trying to just get more comfortable maintaining my speed on very technical terrain. And when I tell my athletes, whenever we're training a skill like this, or your run form, anything skill oriented, it's all about repetition. So I'm doing this hill back and forth to train my brain to start getting used to that type of terrain. And the familiarity of the repetition of the hill each time, my body starts to get used to it, and therefore my brain gets used to it. I'm able to get better and better as I go. But then later on, my body's used to, and my brain is used to that type of terrain, and then other foreign terrain doesn't seem so foreign. It remembers doing the repetition on this hill today. So that's kind of what I'm doing today. And what I want to talk about real quickly is, I'm training what I consider a weakness or a goal to get better at. And it's something that I have to work at. So I'm always training my athletes in their weaknesses early in the season, so they're developing that skill to get better at that skill. And then as they progress into maybe the meat of the season, or closer to kind of the really, really specific type of workouts for their racing, I then switch to really training their strength and what they're really good at. And what this does, it does two things. Training your weakness early on helps you just to get better in general. Whenever we train a weakness, it's going to help our overall ability. So now we've trained that weakness to get better, which then is going to layer on to what you're really good at and make what you're really good at even better. And the reason you do the strength, or your strengths later on, is that also builds confidence as you're approaching racing and that very specific type of workouts. Now we're training what you're really, really good at, what you like to do, and that builds confidence. And that builds you just start feeling really good about yourself. That then feeds into the race. So train your weaknesses early on, and then as the season progresses and you feel like you're getting better at that, then layer that on and start to really work on your strengths, or what you're really good at as you're into the meat of the season, and see how that works for you. Okay, so if I did, I think it was 2 years ago, I did a really, really good video in the winter about how to detect what your strengths and weaknesses are. And maybe it's something that you haven't even thought about or given much consideration to the difference between the two. But I'm going to attach that video to the end of this video. So see that one after this, and you can kind of self-diagnose maybe some of what your weaknesses are to start working on them right now, especially during pandemic. It's a perfect time to work on your weaknesses. Okay, so all right, I'm gonna head down the hill. I'll show you south of town. This is south of town, and my shoe choice today is the Salomon S-Lab Sense 6 soft ground. Okay, These are Salomon soft ground shoe, which has a taller lug for soft ground for mud. Since it snowed yesterday, I wasn't sure what the terrain was going to be like. We dry up pretty quickly and it was pretty dry. But as you can see, these shoes are starting to get worn anyways. These are 2 years old. So they're almost kind of become now my hard ground shoe. And I'm probably going to get a new soft ground shoe to start transitioning into that I'll have for maybe a year or two. So again, I've talked a lot about Salomon, how much I love Salomon. The fit is just amazing. And I just really love these. So that's my shoe choice today. It was a good choice, you know, a little bit of soft ground, but since they're worn, they're good for the rocks that I was trying to navigate around today too. So the Salomon S-Lab Scent 6 soft ground. You guys are doing awesome. Thanks again for all your comments. Keep them coming. Keep the questions coming. They help me spit things back out to you guys to help you guys. That's what it's all about for this. Okay. All right. See ya later.